As Joy's baby sister, we shared a bedroom, not always happily, as she would dob me in for reading a book under the bedclothes with my torch. She played the role of big sister, making sure I did the right thing. She would put rollers in my hair which would stay in all night. They were very uncomfortable, but Joy told me I had to go through pain to be beautiful. Joy was a member of the Red Cross and the Girls Brigade and performed in many music Eisteddfods. By the time I started school at Earlwood, Joy was already at high school at Dulwich Hill Home Science for a 3-year course in domestic duties, teaching you to be a good wife. I don't think that's where she learned her wonderful cooking skills. These probably came later with various cooking classes at the Electricity Commission and the Australian Gaslight Company, along with cake decorating and sewing. She passed many of her sewing skills on to me and we both made our own clothes. After school, Joy worked at the AMP as a clerk and would often give international visitors a tour of the office, being the tallest building in Sydney at that time. The company computer took up an entire floor. We often had family beach holidays. Joy was a true water baby and loved surfer planing and fishing. As a teenager, Joy caused quite a stir at home when she introduced Elvis Presley music, which was not at all appreciated by Mum and Dad. She was a member of the Earlwood Baptist Church Youth Group, loving their camp, Sunday school picnics and youth dinners. Joy seemed to have lots of boyfriends, but David stayed longer than any of them and soon became part of our family. I was their bridesmaid at 14 years old and was very excited to have a long dress and a perm. Our families have spent a lot of time together growing up, and our children have been a wonderful support to each other. I feel truly blessed to have had my big sister to look after me for 68 years of my life.
We will sing joy.
As Joy's husband, I have of all men been most blessed. Joy and I had known one another since we were around 12 years of age. Of course, over the teenage years, Joy, with her looks and personality, became very popular amongst the young guys. David Craig had no chance. It was not until I was 20 years old when I invited her to join me and my friends Betty and Alan Wallace on a visit to Jenolan Caves that I even got a book in. Things progressed, and following a courtship and engagement, we were married on the 19th of September 1964. A honeymoon to the Gold Coast followed, and in October of that year we purchased a home in Carlingford costing $10,500. Can you imagine that today? She soon demonstrated her natural homemaker abilities whilst holding down a job in a nearby suburb. We visited the Carlingford Baptist Church to check it out and have been attending members ever since. In due course, we were blessed with the birth of our first daughter, Melinda. Here, Joy clearly demonstrated her wonderful mothering skills. A little over 2 years later, Sally Ann was born, and this became a completed family. Over the years of marriage, Joy has been a wonderful wife, my closest friend and lover, my children's mother, and the mortar that's held our relationship together. What more could a man want? I thank God daily for her, even when she chastised me for not watering her roses and lemon tree her way, and when she told me that I had bad taste when asked to select a lounge fabric. She expressed her gifting so generously and creatively in her caring nature, her hospitality, visiting the sick, teaching scripture, her involvement in a wide range of ministries at the Carlingford Church, Christian Youth Travel Association, Australian Christian music seminars, and particularly in the children's ministries in Bangladesh. In 2013, we were privileged to accompany members of the former Sydney North ensembles to Bogota, Colombia, for a series of concerts at the Music of the Americas Festival. These wonderfully skilled young musicians performed magnificently and were true ambassadors of Australia. Joy loved each and every member of the orchestra. We are privileged to have a portion of the orchestra with us today, and I deeply thank all who have come to honour Joy. Joy had been so brave since she was first diagnosed with her terminal illness. and has done all she could to defeat it. Her faith and trust in God, together with the support of family and friends, has been a sustaining influence, resulting in her sharing 3 Christmases with us and not one as she originally predicted. I am truly blessed to have had a Proverbs 31 wife of noble character. On her 60th birthday celebrations, I observed that amongst other things, Joy had lived a life that had met the criteria of that chapter. She truly has been a wife of noble character, worth far more than rubies, and a woman who fears the Lord and is to be praised. Today, I praise Joy and the memory of her life, of which I've been so privileged to share.
We will sing joy.
As a daughter of Joy, I have been loved extravagantly. Joy always served love like her desserts in generous proportions, and knew just how to tailor it to each person. She is the creme de la creme of mothers, which gave Sal and I an incredible advantage in life. But Joy's love didn't stop here. She made our friends her family and impacted many of their lives as well. What Joy loved most in life was to share her passion with others. She shared her love for Jesus with kids through her Sunday school and scripture classes. She generously gave out her special recipes. Chocolate rum dessert cake and Auntie Joy's pab were the favourites. She loved empowering others with her creative craft skills, teaching workshops in banner construction and quilt making. Her gift of discernment shed wisdom on many of life's questions. Joy was anchored in reality, which was handy to bring Dad and me down from the clouds from time to time. Her styling skills were seen through her handmade clothing range, often inspired by the latest trends that she'd spied at the Small Fry Children's Boutique in Eastwood. Unfortunately, this meant she would spend hours on end in material shops looking up the pattern books, which Sal and I absolutely hated. Through the decades, Joy's hairstyles changed to match the trends. We loved her final Judi Dench messy look. On Christmas Day, she walked in the room and took my breath away with how beautiful she looked. I pray that I can be half the mother that she has been. Generations to come will be blessed by her legacy. The world needs Joy. She bred a hope that defies death.
We will sing joy.
As a grandma, Joy was the best you could ever ask for. I have so many fond and happy memories of being with my Gramps Joy. She showed great love and support to Will and me as we grew up as her grandchildren. She was a regular babysitter and able to respond to all situations, always with patience and love. Whether it was those early morning wake-ups or teaching us her amazing ways in the kitchen, especially creating those delightful meringues. Yum! Will and I were the blessed recipients of her beautiful and generous heart. Birthdays were always an exciting time, and Joy's delicious chocolate mousse was a massive highlight. And as for Christmas, well, Joy excelled with her love language of gift giving and gave us mountains of presents and never disappointed. Though I was always told to stop snooping as I searched for them before Christmas. We enjoyed many special memories with our supportive grandma. She always enjoyed seeing us striving to achieve, be it music, academic, sport or co-curricular. Joy always wanted us to do our best. She inspired the idea for my personal interest project, in which I compared my life to Joy's sponsor child's life in Bangladesh. It was so special to have her there last November to see how impactful her love and support is to so many lives. It was really hard to see Joy unwell and in hospital, but so very special for her to be with us when we met our brand new cousin, Matthew. The last outing Joy went to was our band's Christmas Twilight concert. She cherished hearing us progress in our musicianship. I will miss so much about my grandma, from the delicious Vegemite rolls to her gorgeous spirit. I will always love and hold her close to my heart forever. Farewell to Joy Joy, the best grandma in the world.